Namaste everyone. Pranam. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Everyone's on chutti. So let's start the class. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharyamadhyamam Asmadacharyaparyantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Padarayanam Sutra Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yes. So we are trying to understand the text by Shankaracharya called Atma Bodha. This is one of the initial texts, and it is also a text for deep contemplation and mananam. So once one hears Vedanta over a period of time for a few years, has understood the prakriya, but to get hold of the knowledge within oneself, to take anchor in that knowledge, to establish in the vision of Atma Bodha, we need a constant reminder. We need a constant reinforcement. In which manner? In the manner that our own past, due to avidya, what we all have a momentum of how we think, how we feel, who we are, our perception of who we are as an individual. And as we live life, we have relations, we have things to do, we have responsibilities, etc. So, a lot of priority shifts from making Atma Bodh a primary focus. It becomes one of the focuses. Now, because of which there are so many things, as I just said, they overshadow our clarity that we may have gained in the process of Shravanam and our own Adhyanam, our self study, our own pursuit, our own Purusharth. But day to day life, involved as we would be in our grahast ashramas, mind gets overpowered. Means overpowered as in it's obvious. The kartapan has to establish itself again and again. So it keeps getting reinforced. That is why in the Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, Krishna, Vyasa, Vedas have very clearly said to a human being, there are only two paths. जीवन जीने के दो रास्ते हैं. या आप इसको प्रवृत्ति मार्ग से जियो या आप इसको निवृत्ति मार्ग से जियो. अगर प्रवृत्ति मार्ग में रहोगे तो you will be involved in the world. You will become a participant in the world. You will be a contributor to the world. You will be a taker from the world. एक संबंध बन जाता है जीवन का क्योंकि उसी को प्रवृत्ति कहते हैं. Means you are constantly engaged. Because of that constant engagement, Atma Bodha, which is an exclusive identity of oneself, recognizing oneself, freed of all these sambandhas that we establish in the world. इन सब संबंधों से भिन्न है. We just saw that. विलक्षण है. There is no match between me, the contributor in the world, me, the receiver of the world, me, जिसका संबंध हुआ है जगत से, me, the doer of actions, even if I'm a very dharmic person, even when I am living my life as per the dictates of Ishvara, niyamas, even then, that I have a constant perception of myself as a karta, as a bhokta, as an individual. वो enforce होता रहता है, वो establish होता रहता है. Throughout the day, most of our day goes away in interactive world. And in interactions, we are different. Different relations bring us different sambandhas, gives us different cognitions of who we are. And it's like an actor on stage. हमको वस्त्र बदल बदल के व्यवहार अपना अडैप्ट करना पड़ता है. As a mother, the role will be different. As a grandmother, role will be different. As a wife, role is different. As a sibling, role is etc. etc. ये जो हम वस्त्र बदल बदल के अपना जीवन जीते हैं, I'm not talking of the standpoint of आत्मा जो वस्त्र बदलता है देह बदल बदल के. Even within a lifetime, हम एक ही दिन में different people, we interact differently. If I'm working in an organization and I have 15 people under me, it is impossible to be the same with 15 people. You cannot have the same relation with all 15. You may have a sama buddhi, to be fair, but you will still be relating because a relationship will involve a limitation of your identity. बहुत जरूरी है ये. To remember to ourselves, why are we studying Atma Bodha? Because throughout the day, we put on so many layers of our own identity, changing identities. Those identities compared to the manan that happens, that I am free of that identity, उसका मेल नहीं खाता. Means there is no equivalent. What is more predominant in our lives? The predominance is of me being a contributor, me being one of the establishers, me being somebody who relates in the world. You'll have to pause. There is a bell. I'll just come back. Sorry, 1 minute. Sorry, as I just said, we have a lot of roles to play. So we keep changing our own identities, doing different actions during the day. Now, Atma Vidya, Atma Bodh. The other path that the Vedas said is the path of Nivritti. Nivritti marg mein, some people who would uh, have the suvidha, have earned their own vyavastha in such a way that they can make the pursuit of Shastra Adhyanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam as a primary pursuit, and the involvement in the world as secondary. मुख्य क्या है? उनका मुख्य सारा दिन अध्ययन और उससे रिलेटेड क्रियाओं में लगता, दुनिया और उससे रिलेटेड गौण है. So they will not meet many people, they don't involve themselves, they cut away sometimes if their families are very demanding and it takes too much of a time and energy, they reduce their interaction, etc., etc. This management of one's time and life is left to us. What are our choices that we have made? We are studying Atma Bodh because we understand that as we have minds take predominance of different roles, हमारे मन को मनन की बहुत आवश्यकता होती है अगर हम अपने आत्मविद्या की तरफ जड़ पकड़ना चाहें तो. I'll repeat this. अगर हमें आत्मविद्या की तरफ जड़ पकड़ना है, अब समझने की तो ज्यादा आवश्यकता शायद कुछ रह नहीं जाती है, because there's very little to understand in Vedanta, really speaking. It is only up to the point where our doubts should be clarified. Rest of it is a journey of anchoring in that perception. So this kind of a text, जो simple तरीके से हमको ज्ञान भी दे देता है at an initial level, becomes like a revision. At the same time, it becomes manan for us. So what did we see so far in these verses? जब से text start हुआ है, from the external world, it kept coming down. How is the creation? How is Ishvara, the creator of the 5 elements, and those 5 elements make your body and your subtle body? What are the means for moksha? Gyan is the direct means for moksha. And what is Sthula Sharir, Sukshma Sharir, Karan Sharir? And the important topic, why do I experience a Jiva Buddhi? अगर आत्मा ही सत्य है, if Atma is the truth, if Atma is all pervasive and ever there, then why is my perception of a Jivatma, of an individual, of a limited being? For which the answer was, Shankaracharya very clearly says without any ambiguity, it is adhyas. अपने आप को ना जानना जैसे हम हैं, तो हम अपने आप को कुछ और जानेंगे, because the source of knowledge is manifest. Source of knowledge is upadhi में available है. What is the source of knowledge? Atma is the source of knowledge. In the presence of Atma, everything gets known. So in the presence of Atma, myself being who I am, not recognizing that I am Atma, the source of Atma still remains. Lack of discernment on my part, I mistake myself to be this form. क्योंकि यही मेरे perception में मुझको available है. Atma is not perceivable. Atma is, Atma is, but not perceivable as an object. So as the light is there, like the examples that came, various examples, they're all worth reflecting. Like in the sunlight, everything gets revealed. but sun has nothing to do with what is revealed. In the same way, this Atma, which is now experienced, मगर अविद्या के कारण, अविद्या होते हुए हेतु है वो, इट्स द रीजन. इट लुक्स लाइक जो रीजन है, दैट इटसेल्फ इज द, it is the reason for our bondage. What is the reason? The reason is avidya. किस चीज की अविद्या? ऑलरेडी जो सोर्स है आत्मा, ना जानना इज द अविद्या. क्यों नहीं जाना? बिकॉज अध्यास हो गया. नहीं जाना तो जानने की एबिलिटी तो है. द लाइट इज देयर, बट आई डोंट रिकॉग्नाइज द सोर्स. मुझे नहीं पता ये ऑल परवेसिव है. मुझे नहीं पता कि ये अनरिलेटेड टू एवरीथिंग है. मुझे नहीं पता कि ये असंग है. मुझे पता क्यों नहीं है? शास्त्र says, Shankaracharya says, he says only because of avivek. हमने डिसर्न नहीं किया. तो ना डिसर्न करके क्या होता है? जो जैसा दिख रहा है अवेलेबल, वैसा ही समझ जाते हैं. तो when I'm growing up as a child, as I grow up, the source of light is allowing the entire functioning of the life. Throughout, constant, it is there, like sunlight. But I am identified with only the sharirams and my vichar, my thoughts, my feelings, my wants, whatever is falling in my cognition of who I think I am. This avidya being the karan. Shastra says एक ही इसका solution है. आपको बार बार every time, in winters, in countries where it snows, or even in India when it snows, wherever it snows, if there's a snowfall, if they don't clear the snow, what happens? The weight of the snow destroys the roof. So whatever be the condition outside, they have to clear the snow. जितनी बार आता है उतनी बार क्लियर करना पड़ता है. ये होता है मनन. जितनी बार जीव बुद्धि पकड़ लेती है हमको, उतनी बार हमको उसको मनन के थ्रू हटानी पड़ती है. और मनन के लिए वी मस्ट हैव अ स्ट्रॉन्ग विवेक शक्ति. A strong Vivek Shakti along with all the Sadhana Chatushtayam that we have seen, and that is not the topic at the moment. For that Vivek Shakti to be operative, our clarity of the teachings should be available to us. मेरे को मेरा ज्ञान मेरे बुद्धि में स्फुरित होना चाहिए कि जब मेरे को जीव बुद्धि ने आच्छादित किया, it's taken over, and it doesn't mean it's taken over in a negative way. I need to act, and if I need to act, I become an actor. I've limited myself. मेरी अहम बुद्धि आ गई. अब अहम बुद्धि मेरी limitation है. It is a counter of Atma Buddhi. So this aham buddhi needs to be neutralized in the light of Atma Buddhi. Atma Bodha. What is Atma Bodha? I am Satchidananda Atma. And he started that now, as we have been seeing. Share the screen. You can see the.
हाँ जी.
So what did it, 30th, 30 to 36 is an important verse. Up to 29, we saw all this that I have said in overview. 30th verse said, Nishidhya. By the process of negation, त्यागो, त्याग करो, त्यज्य, छोड़ो, abandon, निषिध्य. किसको? He says, these various upadhis that we have picked up by default, because we are मतलब हम नहीं सोच रहे कि हम कौन हैं, हम कैसे हैं, तो हम अपनी इंडिविजुअलिटी को बढ़ावा देते हैं, हम उसको स्ट्रॉन्ग करते हैं, हम उसको असर्ट करते हैं. गिव अप दिस असर्शन. हाउ? बाय द वाक्य ऑफ द शास्त्र, महावाक्य के साथ. कौन सी महावाक्य है? जीव परमात्मा ऐक्य. That's the Mahavakya. This jiva is not the aham that I have identified with or I recognize as today. This aham is in fact Brahman, which Shastra is elucidating to me, which somehow I need to put Purusharth to assert in my own mananam to recognize it. उसको assert करने के लिए मुझे इस उपाधि को त्यागना पड़ेगा. कौन सी उपाधि को? जीव बुद्धि की उपाधि को. इस जीव बुद्धि की उपाधि को कैसे त्यागना है? ना इति करके. ये नहीं है वो, ये नहीं है वो. So every time my jivatvam overpowers or takes hold or takes strength, and every time kya, even if it is always there for our mananam, because we are jiva at this point, we think like a jiva, we behave like a jiva, we operate like a jiva, we show all the lakshanas of a jiva bhav. So he says, na iti, ye jeev satya nahi hai. Initially, it seems like absolute bluff to our own self. It seems, pata nahi, crazy idea, because the whole world is asserting जीवत्व. और हम क्या कर रहे हैं? हमारे को शास्त्र बुद्धि पे श्रद्धा है, शास्त्र वाक्यों पे हमें श्रद्धा है. वो श्रद्धा कैसे बनी? हमने जितनी भी शास्त्र से ज्ञान लिया, हमें मिला, हमको दिखा कि ये जो कह रहा है वो हमारे जीवन में घटित हुआ है. Like for example, if Shastra said, as he said, it's all sharam, buddhavat sharam hai. Now, the first time, agar perceivable insan, thinking insan, if there is a contemplative person, ये conclusion वो खुद अपने अनुभवों में ला सकता है. Doesn't need Shastra to tell me. अपनी ही ऑब्जर्वेशन से वो देखता है यहाँ स्थिर क्या है. What is it that is actually going to be permanent here? What am I spending so much time and value in life, in people, in things which hold no value, truly speaking? Ultimately, how much is going to be relevant, etc., etc. These conclusions, when we start finding in our own intellect, in our own buddhi, then we are able to assert it. And when we assert that, we become followers of the Shastra. क्योंकि शास्त्र ने भी ये दिखाया. अगर मैंने खुद समझा तो बाय अनुग्रह तो हम शास्त्र में आएंगे ही, बिकॉज दुनिया में तो हमें जवाब मिलेगा नहीं. It will be the Shastra only which will pull us, attract us, and it will be the Shastra's Vidya, and the whole Srishti will make things available to us in a way that when we hear this word, supposing मेरी बुद्धि ने निश्चय किया था अपने ही अनुभवों को लेके, even before I had heard Vedanta, Atma Bodh, if my own buddhi had asserted all this is so meaningful, meaningless, what is meaningful in life, I want to pursue that before death takes over. अगर खुद की strength of intellect ने ये decide किया था, और जब पहली बार अगर आपने ये पढ़ा, बुद्ध बुद्धवत शरम, can you imagine the joy in yourself? Because here is someone, something that is asserting your own conclusion, which is different from what the whole world was saying. पूरी दुनिया कुछ और कह रही थी आपको, लेकिन आपको लगा एक अंदर परसेप्शन आपकी बुद्धि की, ज्ञान की, एक जो स्पार्क था, उस स्पार्क से जो आपकी अपनी सोच बन रही थी, उस सोच ने आपको खुद को कह दिया था। और जब शास्त्र ने ये दिखाया कि हाँ, आपकी बुद्धि को अब और बल मिलता है, यस, मेरे पीछे कौन है? मेरे पीछे दिस एंटायर परंपरा, द एंटायर परंपरा फ्रॉम सृष्टि आदि, the entire lineage of this gyan is backing my vision, is backing me, supporting this thought process. Therefore, I can take a next step. What is the next step? Neti neti. Anything else that comes up to my mind as wanting to assert itself, and I am able to see through how it will limit me in the future. We used to give this example when children are growing up and they have a lot of choices to make. हमें क्या करना चाहिए जीवन में, हम ये करें कि वो करें. So the world is full of what should I take up? So there are a lot of temptations that come up from the world. So what should I pursue? Whatever you will pursue is going to be a limitation for life. If I pursue the study of becoming a lawyer, then I am now called a lawyer. If I pursue the studies of medical sciences, I get the upadhi of a doctor. If I pursue the studies of finance, I get the upadhi of a CA, etc. Whatever else, doesn't matter. But what has happened from all available choices, picking up a choice limits my identity. Vyavharically speaking is not the topic here. The topic here is every time we have asserted this jivatvam, we have limited who we are. My visualization normally is, if I'm trying to understand this topic, is कि हमारे पास एक किसी ने, supposing हमने ही या किसी ने, you have got a whole piece of cake, round and big, 3-tier cake. You have a 3-tier cake. Now, every time you cut through it, उसको भोगने के लिए, और आप शेयर करने के लिए, whatever, you have limited the wholeness as if. दुनिया में तो अब केक है, ये कट गया. आइडेंटिटी से क्या हो रहा है? आत्मा इज पूर्ण, मगर हम क्या कर रहे हैं? हम इसमें से एक हिस्से को अपना बना रहे हैं और मैं यही हूं कह रहे हैं. Fortunately, he'll say, and he has said it again and again, आत्मा के पूर्णत्व से ये हिस्सा निकला हुआ कोई कम नहीं करता आत्मा को. अनलाइक अ केक जो कम हो जाएगा, आत्मा पूर्णम ही रहेगी, मगर मेरे अनुभव में पूर्णता को मैंने डिस्टेंट कर दिया. मतलब मुझसे as if it's become more परोक्ष. As if, I'm using the words as if. Nobody should take it lightly or listen to it in a casual way. As if means not literally. आत्मा कभी दूर होती नहीं हमसे, हो ही नहीं सकती, we've all understood. But every time I'm asserting my jiva buddhi, my approach to knowing myself as Atma, मैंने उसको और दूर कर दिया, मीन्स और डिस्टेंट कर दिया, मीन्स और लेयर्स डाल दिए विचार के लिए. I'll have more neti neti to do. Every time I have picked up an upadhi, I will have to remove that upadhi. Nishithya. This constant process is called nididhyasan. निधिध्यासन मतलब बार बार अपने आप को putting it through that exercise, putting it through that tapas, putting it through that self-discipline, call it, where I am willingly ready to examine the layer of upadhis that I have added on, which are as if blocking my own vision of recognition of who I am, that Shastra tells me, the Mahavakya tells me, this Jivatma you are not, you are that Paramatma. Now, what is this then? Now, the Manan process starts in 31 and 32. What does he say in 31? He says, Avidyakam Shariradi. This is Shariradi is only due to Avidya. I've already covered it, so I'm moving fast now. Drishyam. All this is only seen. Drishya hai. Whatever is seen is Budbudavat Ksharam. Momentary existence. Isse vilakshan. Etat vilakshan means that is not Budbudvat. That is not Sharam. It's Aksharam. It's not Budbudvat. It is Nityam. इससे विलक्षण जो मेरा आज की सोच मुझे दिखा रही है, इससे विलक्षण, gaining that knowledge, because of that knowledge, vidya से aham brahma iti, I have to assert this. So I'm not just doing negation. Neti neti sirf hum nahi kar rahe. The manan is not just doing neti neti. The manan is doing neti neti and asserting simultaneously, who am I? I am nirmalam. I am free of all this upadhi. I am free of all the things that I are drishyam. I'm not all this. I'm free of it. Then he says in this 32nd verse, which also we've covered, deha anyatvat. De se anya. I am different from this. Look at how the language has changed. When I say neti neti, I'm not this, I'm not this. Then who am I? I am different from this. Who is this different? क्योंकि अभी फर्स्ट वर्स शरीर को कहा, दृश्यम को कहा. सो शरीर के गुण जो हैं, विच इज जन्म जरा तो षड विकार्स, इन सबसे भिन्न हूं मैं. Now, this sentence is a sentence of assertion by negation, through negation. I'm negating the Jiva Buddhi, saying, oh, I am this, I have born on this date, oh, I am blah, 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 blah. Oh, I will die, I am aging, oh, I am this, which is a fact. All of us experience that. But every time I say this to myself, I believe I am all this. And Shastra says, no, you are not this. Janma, Jara, Vyadhi, etc. ये शरीर को है, उसका no denial. तुम्हें नहीं है. Not yours. And when I'm not joined with the body, मतलब शरीर ही मैं नहीं हूं, तो इंद्रिय भी निरिंद्रिय. I'm free of the indriyas. I'm not the indriyas also. If I'm not the indriyas, then इंद्रियों का जो व्यवहार है, शब्दादि विषय ही, संगह, जो इंद्रियों का अपना संग अपने ऑब्जेक्ट्स के साथ है, that means entire external world, न मैं, I'm not that. Also, cha, also. So what has happened? The entire Sthula Sharir and the Sthula Jagat have taken negation. How have they taken negation? This is the point of reflection. I negate them in the assertion of who I am. Means I have to constantly remind myself first. My first step would be to remind myself I am different from this Shastra says. पहले तो हमें श्रद्धा पे ही चलना पड़ेगा क्योंकि हमारी अपनी विवेक शक्ति हमें नहीं दिखा रही इस बात को. हमारी अपनी विवेक शक्ति हमें अभी तक इतना दिखा रही है कि आई एम दिस बॉडी, आई एम दिस दिस आई एम रिलेटेड टू द वर्ल्ड एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. हमारी अपनी सोच हमें इसके आगे नहीं लेके जा रही, लेकिन हमारी सोच हमें शास्त्र तक की श्रद्धा तक ले आई. नाउ द नेक्स्ट स्टेप इज होल्डिंग द हैंड ऑफ द शास्त्र विवेक. Just as a child holds the hand of a parent while growing up, when we cross the roads, so हम हाथ पकड़ के ही चलते हैं माँ बाप का या बड़ों का या किसी का भी. डर लग रहा है इधर उधर क्या करना है, so you hold the hand. But till when do you hold the hand? You hold the hand till you have learned to cross the road yourself. Now you don't need to hold anybody's hand to cross the road. In other words, or rather, you don't need to hold the hands. When you have become ready not to hold the hands, you are now ready to give your hand to someone else to cross. This is Shastra ka parampara, Guru Shishya ka parampara. What does the Shishya do? He holds the hand of the Shastra with the help of the Acharya's teachings and Acharya's efforts and whatever else they tried their best to make the text as clear as possible as it was made to them. They try to make that available to us and हम उसका अब हाथ पकड़ लेते हैं. At this point, it may be out of श्रद्धा. श्रद्धा है इसलिए पकड़ रहे हैं. हमें नहीं खुद को दिख रहा कि कैसे आत्मा है, क्या आत्मा बुद्धि है, लेकिन गलत भी नहीं लग रहा. इसलिए next step is holding that hand. I start to assert slowly as it gains space in my thinking drive, hard drive, soft drive, hard drive. इसको क्या soft drive कहेंगे हम, hard disk नहीं कहेंगे, soft disk. In my mind, as I start giving it the space, means थोड़ा time, थोड़ा interest, थोड़ा inclination, थोड़ा बार विचार करना, for which I need a very relaxed and a quiet time in myself, few minutes, few days, and that is why these are the verses that become nididhyasan in the form of meditation, जो हम लोग बीच में करते रहते हैं. एकाग्र होके बैठ के अपने ही विचारों को discern करना. In the light of having me held the hand of the Shastra Buddhi, which says कि this Deha Adi, Janma Jara, all this that I can see also, you are different from it. इनसे विलक्षण हो आप. We try to hold that step. Then he says in the next verse, now he comes to the negation of the subtle body. Abhi tak I hope everybody is clear. I can't see any one of you. So if anybody is not clear, I'll have to wait. Stop the share. By now, I think everybody should be okay.
It's just putting it into daily life. That's the difficult part. That's all.
Huh. But that is not difficult. It is actually only
a process.
Yes, it is only difficult because the overpowering of the other thoughts is so strong.
Okay.
अगर कभी हमारे कुछ हमने बनाया या हम भूल गए, like cookers or kadhais, you put something. I remember once it happened with me. I forgot I put something in the cooker and then वो पूरा जल गया.
Correct.
अब जो जल जितना गया है उसको उतना मेहनत लगेगा। अगर मैंने जल्दी पकड़ लिया होता तो मेहनत कम होती।
Very
अब
true.
वो बाद में पकड़ा मैंने, पूरे घर में स्मेल आ रही है, ऊपर नीचे सबको पता चल रहा है, बस मुझे ही नहीं समझ में आ रहा है। आई एम लॉस्ट इन माई सेल्फ। सो जब ये हुआ, अभी अभी करो, एक बारी दो बारी से नहीं धुलेगा ये। You'll have to do it again and again. That
Okay.
doing it again and again is the difficult part.
But then what does one tell oneself every day? Like, what does one talk? What is the process? Like, I'm not able to get that.
The process is only observing your own thoughts, letting them run their space. At the end of it, including the thought from the Shastra
Okay.
and saying, Shastra says, ye sab nahi hu. Today, I am not seeing it, so I let it run the thought. Let it run its course.
Mm-hmm.
थोड़े टाइम तक चलता है, मन एक साथ तो टिकता नहीं है. It keeps changing itself.
Correct.
So as long as it is staying, I will not interfere. Let it run its course. उसका एक अपना व्यवहार हुआ है, जीवन में होता है. So it has its own momentum. I do not disturb that.
Okay.
I have included what Shastra tells me.
Mm-hmm.
It's an inclusion of one extra thought. इतने thoughts आ रहे हैं हमारे पास, इसमें मैं एक और thought add कर देती हूँ.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Just one thought, literally one thought. All this is not me.
As we said, neti neti.
That's it.
Okay.
Just including one thought.
Okay.
And gradually, but we have to be persistent. That's why the difficulty doesn't ease. Sometimes if you play games on mobiles, very interesting. अगर आप खेलते हैं तो आपको पता चलता है कि अगर आप एक डिफिकल्ट लेवल पे आ जाते हो और आप अटक जाते हो.
Mario.
Oh, I do not know all that. I'm just taking an example. So अगर आप अटक गए, the point is the game will not allow you to go to the next step. आपको उसी को सॉल्व करना पड़ेगा. तो
Okay.
आप आगे निकल ही नहीं. वो डिफिकल्टी लेवल जो भी वो है, वो आपको क्रॉस करनी ही है. Which means only by practice. And हो जाती है at some point of time. हर कोई क्रॉस करता है. Otherwise all the games would have, all the companies would have wound up.
Right.
If nobody was going to be crossing them. That means it just needs practice.
Okay. Okay.
That's
So
all it
not
means.
not to get stuck at that difficult and then keep on persisting.
Exactly.
Okay.
Not to get stuck even at the thought that it's difficult. It is bound to be difficult. Why should I say it is going to be easy? There is no point in deluding myself. I am a jiva today. As a jiva, I don't expect that these thoughts are going to take hold overnight just because I've heard them. ये मेरे मन को बदलेंगे थोड़ी एकदम से, अगर मैं ना बदलूं तो अपने मन को.
Right.
और मेरे मन की बदलने का प्रोसेस शास्त्र हमें देता है.
Right. Okay. Right. Thank you so much.
Okay. So now in the 33rd verse, he's saying how I'm not the mind, subtle body. हम सब जानते हैं हमारा मन क्या है. वही राग द्वेष, सुख, इच्छा, दुख, fear and more and wants, and all of us understand all that. We don't need to elaborate that. Shastra says now in the first line of this verse, 33rd verse, amanaha amanastvat. Atma being amanaha. I am other than the mind. Amanaha. अभी हम क्या करते हैं? Aham manaha. I am this mind. I am this like. I am, मतलब मुझे ये पसंद है करके, when I say that, I am asserting ahankar there. But Shastra says aham is amanaha, not all this mind. So what? Because it is not mind itself, then whatever are the qualities, properties seen as mind, which is Rag, Dvesh, Bhaya, Adi, they are also not me. The Dukkha, Raga, Dvesha, Bhaya, Adi, I am not that also. So instantly, really speaking, the minute we put this into assertion, there is relative freedom. Because bondage is owning up what is mithya. जो है नहीं उसको सत्य मानना, उसी को बॉन्डेज कहते हैं, और वही हमारे दुख का कारण है. हमें दुखी इसलिए है क्योंकि जो नहीं है सत्य उसको हम सत्य मान रहे हैं. Like for example, if you've eaten something wrong, after some time, not immediately sometimes, but any time, let's say, your body tells you कुछ गड़बड़ है. The state of your health that you have known so far, which was the most comfortable state, it didn't require your attention. Now suddenly in your attention, a thought has come, something's wrong in the stomach. You even know where, mostly. कुछ गड़बड़ है, कहीं पे है. If I don't know it, then of course one who has studied, the doctor knows it. But the first symptom I get to know, ये जो अपने ही comfortable state से discomfort में आ गया, what we all call as disease, that has become known to me. In the same way, mind में जो हमको ये सब दुख का and संसार का feel होता है, this is the same discomfort that जो मिथ्या है हमने उसको सत्य माना है, उसका ये disease है. What is the disease? Raga, Dvesh, Bhaya, Adi. Is this statement clear? So many times one thinks, हाँ मैं तो clear बोल रही हूँ, but in case it's not clear to anybody. Yeah. So what is mind? I'm repeating. हमें लगता है मन मैं हूँ. मन में राग, द्वेष, भय और हमारे सारे feelings real हैं. Let's put it this way. मैं is still distant, but ये सब real है. हमें real क्यों लगता है? क्योंकि हमें मेरा मन real लगता है. सत्य है ये. इसका अस्तित्व है. शास्त्र कहता है अमनः, इसका कोई अस्तित्व नहीं है. It is not there. So what is happening? Just as my physical body tells me a symptom of its discomfort, my mind, when it experiences raga, dvesha, adi, they are the discomforts telling me कि मैं मिथ्या को सत्य समझ रही हूँ. I have moved away from satya drishti, and what is not satya, I am holding on to it as satya. इसलिए मेरे मन में मुझे दुख आदि ये सब भाव आ रहे हैं. Just as in my stomach I get pain when I eat something wrong. If I have not eaten anything wrong, in its natural state of health, we have no discomfort in the body. Bhagwan has made this sharir so amazingly perfect कि किसी को कोई तकलीफ नहीं होती है इस शरीर से. लेकिन हमको धीरे धीरे जैसे जैसे हमारी आदतों से तकलीफ आने लगती है, हमें दिखने लगता है, अरे आज कुछ गलत खा लिया, अरे I've overeaten something, so my stomach. Now that discomfort tells me I have moved away from the natural state of its health. In the same way, my existence naturally is Atma. But when I move away from that drishti and I anchor myself with what is not Atma, which is this Jiva, and I affirm the thoughts here as me, ये मेरे मन को अब जो मैं हूं ही नहीं, इसको जो मैं कह रही हूं, it then starts giving me the symptoms of discomfort. Not right, not right. दुख का एहसास feeling आने लगती है because I am holding on to mithya as satya. That is the first negation. So the sthula sharira negation was in the previous verse. The first line of the 33rd verse is giving the negation of the mind, and the next line is giving us the negation of the pranas itself. Pranas may be the physiological pranic activity like hunger and sleep and thirst and etc., the drives of the physiological body. Apranaha hi, amanaha. Pran also is freed of. Aham, as ahamkar. अप्राणः है, like अमनः. प्राण भी मैं नहीं हूं. So, what is it? Shubhra. Shubhra is I am free. I am pure. I am nirmala. I am asangah, etc. मैं ही अप्राण हूं, freed of all this physiologically motivated process. Hunger, thirst is included in all this. So all physiological processes. I am not this. I am not the mind. I am not the body. Who am I? Shubhrameva. Ityadi, etc., etc. I am Shubhram, I am Nirmalam. He's going to give all that Ityadi in the next verse. I am Nirgunam, I am Nishkriyam, I am Nitya, I am Nirvikalpa, I am Niranjana, I am Nirvikara, I am Nirakara, I am Nitya Mukta Asmi Nirmalaha. That is who I am. कौन कहता है ये? Shruti Shasanat. As said in the Shruti. Which Shruti? In the Mundaka Upanishad, it says, this part of the verse is quoted here, Aprano Yamanaha Shubram Yaksharat Parataha Paraha. 2 and 2 of the Mundaka. So when he says Shruti Shasanat, means this is the teaching, final teaching of the Shruti, that I'm Apranaha, I'm Amanaha, and I'm Shubhraha. I am Akshara. I am Parataha Paraha. I am beyond all limitations. That is who I am. So, amanastvat name dukkha raga dvesha bhayadayaha aprano yamanaha shubhraha ityadi shruti shasanat. So who am I? Now this verse is pure nididhyasana. जब हमने धीरे धीरे अपने ध्यान में, when you sit in meditation or when you sit in dhyanam, first few layers as we have practiced off and on are all जो latent momentum में चलती है. पूरे दिन की कल की बातें, पिछली बातें, ये मन में आती हैं. Just being a silent observer. आने दो, जाने दो. No interference. Just watch them. I'm a sakshi of them. देखो उसको. Don't interfere with them. अपना कर्तृत्व भाव नहीं डालना वहां पे. धीरे 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 मन अपना उससे छोड़ देता है. उन थॉट्स वो निकल जाते हैं, अपने आप आते हैं, चले जाते हैं. अगर हम जुड़े नहीं तो वो आते और जाते हैं. That's the formula actually. I said it in passing, but that's a formula. The formula is, if you don't hold the thoughts will come and go like the reels in a movie. आप अगर पकड़ोगे नहीं किसी चीज को तो वो आपको पकड़ नहीं सकते. अगर आप किसी चीज को पकड़ते हो तो वो आपको पकड़ लेता है. Remember the story of I find it fascinating. Simple observation of life only actually. When people have pets and वो सुबह सुबह उठ के और उनको वॉकिंग पे ले जाते हैं. The pets have to relieve themselves. So I find it very amusing sometimes कि अपने आप से ये कभी ना उठते, नहीं आते ये वॉकिंग पे, लेकिन because the pet has to go. Now pet is actually holding them or they are holding the pet. In the same way, वो पेट भागता है, इनको भी पीछे पीछे भागना पड़ता है. They have to control the pet, they have to manage. So one end of the chain is with the pet, but the other end of the chain is holding you also. This is a basic principle of life. हम जिस चीज को पकड़ लेते हैं ना, उसी चीज ने हमें भी पकड़ा है. So when what is felt as a bondage is what I have held in myself. तो मन में जो हमको ये सब थॉट्स आते हैं, पहले इनको जब अगर हम पकड़ेंगे नहीं तो ये जाएंगे. जब जाते हैं ना तो मन अपनी नेचुरल स्थिति, जो उसका प्रीडोमिनेंट सात्विक स्वभाव है, उसमें आके बैठ जाता है. इफ वी डोंट हैव अ लॉट ऑफ क्लेश बिहाइंड अस एडेड इन आवर माइंड्स, राग द्वेष बहुत ज्यादा नहीं है, तो इफ यू हैव डन आवर चित्त शुद्धि as a part of nitya discipline, then very soon the mind stabilizes as peaceful, shant, detached, objective. This mananam, nididhyasanam, works then. At a superficial level, it will not work. It doesn't have the capacity because it's too, I would call it, deep. जो चीज गहराई में होती है ना, उसको हम ऊपर से नहीं पकड़ सकते. When you have to find pearls or whatever, you have to go under, deep in the ocean. What is floating on the surface is all dead material, dead wood, dead tires, dead carcasses. वो सब float होके अपने आप आ जाता है साइड पे. बट जो precious है, वो गहराई में उतरना पड़ता है. To know myself who I am cannot be known by just superficial engagement of words. इस मन को अपनी प्रक्रिया में डालना पड़ता है, which means पुरुषार्थ लगाना है. What is that purusharth? Our minds, we let it pass by. Every day we have to pick it up anyway. We are engaged in the world. So वो पकड़ेगा जरूर, लेकिन उसका काउंटर हम एक्सरसाइज साथ साथ कर रहे हैं. What is that? निर्गुणः, निष्क्रियः, नित्यः. We tell ourselves who we are. I'm not these gunas. The entire bhautik jivan is prakriti. Prakriti is entirely gunas. Aham nirmalaha, shuddhaha. Yeah, even in the Tattva Bodh, the first exercise, and we said it's a very good mananam जो हमें रोज सुबह उठ के करनी चाहिए. That verse should be chanted every day. What is it? Nityam Shuddham Nirabhasam Nirakaram Niranjanam Nityabodham Chidanandam Gurum Brahma Namamyaham Namamiyaham. To that Guru who is Brahman, not Guru. Brahman who itself is the parampara, itself is the teacher. That Brahman Namamiyaham. When we wake up in the morning, we assert to ourselves that the functioning of the day is incidentally like an actor on stage. I will do what ought to be done. But na aham. I am not that. So with this, I think we should end the class. Is that okay? I'll just end the class over here. Then we'll take up if there's any question. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु, सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु, सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः, गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं, लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु, काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः, पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी, देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः, ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।